Hi students, one question which has been asked in the examination of BBA as well as in the exam of BBA LLB of IP University is what is bounded rationality? So in this short video I am trying to answer what is meant by bounded rationality. First of all, you have to understand that bounded rationality as a concept was proposed by the famous economist, the American economist Herbert A. Simpson, and he proposed this method of decision making, which is now called bounded rationality, as an alternative method for rational decision making, which is based upon a lot of mathematical models. Let me give you an example. If you are the procurement head of a company and for a new project you need to immediately purchase, let us say within a short span of time, 1000 laptops, then you are limited by time constraint. You are also limited by the nature of information because you may not have information about all the brands which are available, nor your team would have that information. So there is time constraint, number one. Then there is limited nature of information. Number three is that you may be bogged down by your own cognitive ability. Now, cognitive ability is something which is related to your perception, your memory, your judgment, your reason. So as you keep growing your cognitive ability, it increases. So these are three constraints. And the fourth constraint could be that the problem may not be very tractable. What is meant by tractable? Tractable means that the problem is not really very easily controllable. There is no perfect algorithm for that problem. As you know, the algorithm is a sequence of steps which you take to arrive at a solution in, as you know, in the computing sciences. So you cannot take a fully rational decision. Fully rational decision would mean, suppose there are 15 brands available in the country. You check the specifications of all the 15 brands, you call for them for a demo, and then you talk to them, you negotiate on the pricing and everything. So this is a time consuming activity, but you have very little time. You have time constraints, you have very limited nature of information, your own cognitive ability is a constraint. And the problem is something, if you don't procure all these things in next 1 week, then your project could get delayed. So what do you do? Instead of going for the best option which is available, or instead of the optimizing the optimizing decision making, you go for what is good enough for you, which satisfies you. Instead of optimizing uh, the decision for your company, for your organization, you take something which is good enough within the constraints of time, within the constraints of knowledge, within the constraint of your own judgment about something. So you take a decision which is good enough. This is called bounded rationality. Is bounded rationality bad? No, because in decision making, all the time we are constrained by all these three, four factors which I spoke about. So this is a method which was proposed by Herbert A. Simpson as which we now know and known as which we now know as bounded rationality. In this, you take the decision which is good enough rather than the best possible decision. I hope you have been able to understand what is meant by bounded rationality. Normally, a short question will be asked, or maybe an elaborate question, but normally a question carrying 5 marks is asked in the IP University exam of BBA and BBA LLB in the paper of Principles of Management.